welcome back to the bench. We're going to tie up today one of my favorite bull trout patterns for the winter. Winter, spring, fall. I wouldn't fish it in the summer because the river's too dirty, but pretty much any other season this will work. What do we got here? Our hook is a Mustad S7 4SNP/DT. It's a two extra heavy, 4 extra long streamer hook. Mustad size 6. Mustad big game hooks work great for this too. I got a few of these left. They're a little longer here, so they give us a little bit more room to play with. And then I've also got a 4mm 5/32 salmon bead Spirit River on there. So this fly is a fly I call the Black Lightning. You'll see why, I think, when I tie it. It looks like a leech. It looks like a minnow. It looks like a shrimp. It looks super buggy. It's super alive. Black and blue. Really, you can't go wrong when you're fishing black and blue for trout, coho, chum, steelhead. That's another reason I use these heavier hooks, is because if you're fishing this in the spring and you hook a steely, you got a chance, maybe. You got a slight possibility you might land it. Stranger things have happened, so yeah. But coho, it's a great all-rounder fly. We're gonna use some blue steely ice dub, and we're gonna tie that in at the back of the fly. And this is part of the lightning right here. This blue flash. It looks a little bit like lightning in the water. Blue steely ice dub it should almost be illegal. It's so good for attracting fish's attention. So we'll tie that in, and we'll loop this around here. Maybe I'll loop it around one more time. I got my vise up a little higher for the camera. It's a little different tying angle for me, but be patient, and we will get there in the end. So a nice little blue accent. Now that's not our tail. Our tail is going to be some black zonker rabbit, and we want the rabbit about the length of the hook, maybe a little longer. This is definitely not the biggest trout fly in the world. We'll part the zonker there, but it doesn't need to be. Low and clear like it is right now in the middle of winter. A little bit smaller fly with a little bit more movement seems to work a little better. I just said little about 12 times in one sentence, but that's okay. I'm ad-libbing here, people. I don't have a script. I'm just talking as I tie. So we'll go maybe we'll do one more on the top. You really want to tie your rabbit down, not trapping any fibers. I'll tie a few in front. These beads always get in my way, but that's okay. 2 more over the back there. That's good. And then I've got these handy dandy little clips here. I'll clip that out of our way. Just wet it a bit and pull it back. So that's our tail, and now we're going to dub a body. And this body, it's black and blue again as well. It's going to add to the lightning effect, and this really makes it look prawny, squiddy, shrimpy in the water. So make a dubbing loop, dubbing spinner. We are going to wax this thread a little bit, just a slight bit. Grab our dubbing wax here and open it up. Just give a little bit of wax there, get rid of the junk. Wax loves to attract all the junk on your bench. There we go. So our body is going to be Sanyo's Midnight Fusion Dub Midnight. I was going to call this a Midnight Special, but I think Black Lightning is a little bit better. And this stuff too is just, it's got blue and black and purple and green and copper, and that's probably going to be enough. It's got lots of great stuff in it. So I'm just going to marry these ends up here as we go. And then I'm just going to lay it down on my table. Just get the length where I want it to be. I don't want it to be too, I want it to be fairly sparse, this body. I don't want it too thick. I still want it to move and swim. Dubbing loop's a bit too big, but that's all right. So we'll pretend we're making a composite dubbing loop without making a composite dubbing loop, and you can pick it all up just like that. Good little tip. Makes it easier farting around with our loop. Okay, so I'm going to slide it in about 50-50 there. And actually, I'm going to put just a little bit more in. I think I'm going to need it. Just about that much more. So yeah, black and blue flies, that's really my bread and butter in the winter. I caught my first bull trout on a black and blue fly, and I recently tied some flies up for a buddy, and he caught his first bull trout on a black and blue fly too, so I figured I'd show you guys this one. So in the dubbing loop, we're going to pinch and spin. This is UTC 140 thread, I think. I can't really tell. Maybe it's Beavis 210, but anyways, strong thread, so we'll spin this up. It's not really going to matter. We're not going to break this thread. Okay, we'll take our brush here, give it a nice little brush out. You can also do this with a dubbing brush. I'll show you guys how I make dubbing brushes one day. It works really good for production tying like this. You can bang out half dozen or a dozen of these in an hour, a dozen in an hour, pretty easy. So we'll give that a good brush, okay? We'll just wet it a little bit. We don't need to be too fussy. And then we'll start wrapping it up. Try not to pinch that rabbit there. You can also use a rotary feature on your vise, but I like to just take my time here, play with it a little bit. So as I wrap it up, just keep pulling it back. And we're going to brush it out afterwards too to get all those trapped fibers out of the way. There's so many cool colors in this dubbing. It's great stuff. It's nice and long too. Originally I tied this just by making a dubbing noodle and wrapping up like a tapered body, which would be pretty good for still waters, I think. But in the river, they like all the movement you can get and all the help you can give them. Let's see. Yeah, that's going to be good. All right, so we'll tie this off. There's a tie here. And clip this. I don't know if these are good scissors or not. I always buy the same scissors, anvils basically. And I'm cheap, so I never throw the old ones out. And then I should think of a way to mark them, but I end up with a bunch of the scissors that are, you can't tell which is new and which is old. So so let's give this a brush out. Enough jibber jabber. And you can see, hopefully, yeah, you can see how buggy that is. Junk is in there coming out. See the colors on that? Pretty cool stuff. So in our keeping with our prawn theme, I'm just gonna wet this stuff and pull it down. This is how you tie a Squamish poacher too, which we will probably do one day together on the bench here. Another great pattern. As I live on the coast, I live in Squamish. You gotta love the old Squamish poacher. So what I'm gonna do now is I'll just pull this rabbit back. I'll just part it out, but I'm not gonna clip it. I'm gonna tie it in like this. And then hopefully when I cut it, it all works out. It doesn't always. I haven't figured that out yet, but I will one day. Why it doesn't work out. So 3 in the back, a couple in the front, 1 more in the back. I like to tie my flies good and strong. So next up, we're going to cut it with a razor blade. I usually lose these, so please have a spot for them. You don't want to be losing these. You don't want to step on a razor blade. Trust me. Okay, so I'm going to cut that there. There we go. We'll get rid of that. Save it for our next fly. And then we'll just really cinch this rabbit down. That's going to give us a nice clean head. You can use scissors to cut that too, but just with using the razor blade, it just cleans everything up. See that nice prawny? You could taper those, you could cut those, but I like the undulation, so I'm going to leave them. And then our last step is going to be to tie in some guinea. Now, if you're like me, you tie a lot of hobo spays, and for hobo spays, you want to use the nice long guinea feathers. So you end up with a lot of, this one's not too bad, but you end up with a lot of short little guinea feathers. And this fly is a great use to get rid of your short little guinea feathers. So they look like this. Peel that away. And peel that one away. Perfect. That breaking off actually is better because we don't want a thick stem on this fly. And then what I like to do is pull those down, and then with that there, I just like to cut a little V in, and that is what I use to tie in my feather. I'll give it a couple wraps, I'll fold it back over, and that little V, it's kind of a reverse V, but that really helps to secure the feather down without adding a lot of bulk. And I don't like that feather there, so I'm going to trim that out. It doesn't matter, but that's just how I like it. Now you can take your scissors, run them down here, kind of score it. I'm just gonna fold it. I might actually use some hackle pliers because this is a little thin. There you go. So yeah, we're just gonna wet it, pull it back a little bit. There we go, that's laying nice. And we only want about 2-3 wraps at the most. There is 2. I might get 3 out of this feather. This is kind of a pattern I stole from some guys on Vancouver Island. They were fishing something pretty similar. They were using a brush instead of just the dubbing loop, but the black tail and the blue combo with some blue highlights just seems to set these fish off. It works actually. It's a great cutthroat fly too. Cutthroat, love it. Sea run cutties will be coming in soon. Can't wait. So we'll cut that off. We'll get rid of that. We're pretty happy with the way that's looking. By we, I mean me. And then I'm going to just take a bit of Zap-A-Gap. You can use crazy glue, you can use super glue, use whatever you want. And then I just put a bit of glue on the thread. You can probably see it there. I'm just going to wrap it in. The glue on the thread just gives you a much cleaner, neater head. And it gives you a good even coating. Just give it a quick whip finish. There we go. Just a easy to tie, super productive, super effective little trout fly that I call the Black Lightning. So give her a go. Let me know how you do. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. I'll throw some B-roll up of this too probably, but yeah, the Black Lightning. Thanks for tuning in, tight lines, and hopefully we see you on the river.